Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ClassicWhoZone. We are here for the Daleks. Yes. So we're going to be doing a bit of that. I've sent out emails to all of my guests, my panelists, but looks like we've only got one in the studio right now at the moment. So I'll give everybody a couple of minutes, even though I am late myself. We'll give them all a couple of minutes. As I said last night, things will be changing on the channel from next week onwards. So I nearly have my Classic Who panel together. So I'll be announcing who's going to be on the Classic panel. I'll be announcing who's on the New Who panel as well. As I said, we're making the panel smaller now. And as I said, look, I don't want any moaning. You know, every time I've tried to make a change, someone has thrown their toys out the pram, and I'm actually doing it this time because the panels are too big. And I want to streamline them all. So I've given everybody the chance to give me two options. So there's three watch-alongs right now. We've got your Rick and Morty, we've got Classic Who, and we've got New Who. I want you to pick two because I know everybody's going to pick Classic Who. And if that is the case, then what I'll do is I'll put you in and use as second choices. So that's how I've decided to do it, because I know everybody's going to pick the Classic watch along, and I'm sorry, we'll have to, everybody, you know, you want to be on, you have to pick a different panel to be on. So that's why I've asked for two choices. So I've already got my Classic panel locked in. So I'm just waiting on the rest of the people to get back to me to let me know what their second choices are. There'll be only one permanent panelist on the Classic and New Who, and that will be Charlotte. That's my decision. You know, and just in case anybody decides to moan about it, this is not a democracy. I've made up my mind. She's my co-host for those two streams, and that'll be it. You know, I love her being on the Classic because she always has a different point of view to the rest of us. And she is a Matt Smith fan, and I'm not going to pull the plug on her watching the end of Matt Smith's era. So I decided to make her my co-host for the two watch-alongs that will be starting. Oh, by the way, as well, obviously Sunday, we're going to be reviewing Series 13. So I have to move New Who. And I'll be moving it to Monday evenings, maybe. I haven't put the schedule. I'm moving things around right now, but I'll let you know. All the new changes won't be kicking in until next week. Anyway, well, this will be the last weekend for New Who, if you get me, and then things will be changing. So we got two guests. I'm just waiting on the rest of me guests. I don't know what's going on tonight, actually. I better start sending messages to people to see what the story is. See, but this is what I'm talking about as well. Like, people give out to me about being on panels, right? And then when it's time to do a panel, only two people show up, like. So I'm streamlining them and whatever. And listen, here's the thing. If I put you in a panel that you don't want to be in, even though it is your second choice, then I'm just going to be out straight. You don't have to come on the channel. But I'm not going to be, you know, blackmailed or you know, people throwing their toys out of the pram for me to change my mind this time. I'm not changing my mind. I've wanted to change these panels 3 times, and 3 times I've backed down because I've had people give out to me. But not this time. Right. Just texting real super doctor. I don't know what's up with him, man, lately. I think he's been very busy. And his internet does be spotty as well. Cheryl's in bed. She threw her back apparently. I was asleep when she did it. So she's not in the best of form. Evening, everybody. Evening. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Nobody else is here. So look, I'm just gonna go with who I have here. But this is what I'm talking about. People give out. Oh well, I'll do classic Who. Well, you can't just pick classic Who. You have to give me your second option because loads of people are gonna pick classic Who. Come on now. Anyway, let's get this show on the road because I'm not here all night either myself. I've got a chicken in the oven, which I've probably burnt actually. Hold on. Oh. Right. Well, let's bring on our guests anyway. We've got the one and only Queen Charlotte.
I promise, folks, I've not bribed Noel, so I can do. So I can become the co-host. I promise. I'm not bribed him.
Look, I'm going to be out straight and I do sound a bit firm here, but I don't care if anybody has a problem with it. That's the decision I've made at the end of the day.
I'm having a joke. I'm having a joke.
I know you're having a joke, but I'm just saying if anybody does have a problem with it, come to me. I've made the decision. It's my decision, and I've made it, and that's the way it goes, and that's the way it's staying now. I've wanted to do this 3 or 4 times over the last year, and I've backed down every time because people are moaning at me. Well, why am I on the panel? So I've given everybody, there's 3 watch-alongs, pick 2 of them. If everybody picks the classic, I'll be putting you in your second option. That's it. That's the way it's done. But the reason why I kept you on was because for the simple fact is you obviously give a unique take on classic Who. And to be honest with you as well, new Who as well, you're the same. But Matt Smith is your doctor as well. And I used to have a permanent co-host. Used to be Daniel, so it might as well be you. Daniel's decided
the other half of the team.
Daniel's decided that he doesn't want to do new Who, which is understandable with all the stuff that's been going on with the show. So I thought it was logical. I says, well, feck it. I mean, Charlotte is here, so we might as well. And you can represent Daniel as well. So there you go. So
and they're shorter, so my battery doesn't die as quickly.
Well, let's bring on our next guest. Noel's way or the highway. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I'm putting my foot down now. Things have been, look, I've let things slide for the last couple of months. I haven't really said anything, right? But there's been certain things that have been going on the channel that I haven't personally liked myself, but I've kind of let slide because the way I am is, especially with people that I know and people in this community, I don't like upsetting you guys, but I've kind of got to the stage where it's getting a bit too much now and I have to do something about it. So I'm making the panel smaller. And that's just it. Right, let's bring on our next guest because he's always fashioned to be late, but he was early because I was late. So technically these are all early and I'm the one that's late. But it's the one and only. No, I'm not bringing them on. I've decided not to. It's all good. It's me and Charlotte tonight. I'm only messing. One and only. Problem big.
Hello. Hello.
At least you had time to eat, Lee, tonight.
Oh no, I've got my dinner in front of me. I made a chicken tikka.
How have you still got food?
Tikka. Did you make that yourself?
Well, I cooked the chicken myself.
Store brand chicken tikka and put
I did cheap the sauce, but I did cook the chicken myself.
Okay, right. Okay. Well, that's something. That's something. I suppose.
Well, it was on sale. What am I supposed to do?
Well, if it's on sale, you might as well. Fuck that, yeah. Why not? Jesus Christ, man. If I see anything for on sale or something, or needs to be eaten within a day or two, I'll buy the fucking thing. Jesus Christ, whack it in the oven, done, eat it, bang.
Exactly.
You know? Fuck that shit, man.
Yeah.
And save a few quid, man. Oh, that's why I always go to the shelves. Not the way you go to the shelves now. They have a certain shelf now where like stuff goes off in a day or two. They put it on the shelf there. It's like it's reduced like 33% or something like that. That's why I go to that shelf as well, man. Because sometimes you might get a full fucking chicken, yeah, for about £2, and all it is because like it goes off the next day. Just whack it in the fucking oven, and make sure it's well cooked though. Exactly. Be careful about chicken though. But you're right. But make sure it's well cooked, man, and it's grand. So the sell-by date is in supermarkets. You know, you can always eat food 2 or 3 days after a sell-by date. Depends on the food though. But
there's some food you can even do that longer with.
Yeah.
If I have a chicken breast, I always cook it in the oven on hot for like 220 degrees. Put it in for about 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. I'd actually have that after 22 minutes, right, at the temperature that you put it at. Then I'd turn it down to 180, and then I'd leave it for another.
Or you can switch over to grill, broil it for a few minutes, and then you can also dice it, so you can cook it for like 18 minutes. So if you dice it, it cooks quicker. Obviously, it's less.
We got Steven Seagal in the chat.
Hey.
Where's me fucking Fortnite invites? I haven't had a Fortnite invite off yet in ages, mate. It's been a while. It's been a while, I have to say. I have been checking in on some of your streams, I have to say, because obviously I do play Fortnite. But I was playing last night. I did well last night, actually. I got 4 victory royales in a row because I was playing with some Russian fella. And this fella was taking no crap. Right, seriously, man.
There you go. Ask. It says ask.
All right, no problem. But you know me, I don't like just jumping in. Can I come on? You know, just in case you have loads.
Well, you can always say no. You can also say yes. You got 50-50.
That's true. Anyway, this Russian fella, right? So we all died except for him, right? He rebooted us all, right? He managed to get us all. And we won. I got the last kill. I got a sniper rifle kill on your man. The head. It was nice.
See, this is like another language to me. I do play my games, but it's not Fortnite.
Yeah, we were seriously, man, kicking ass last night and the other night as well. Hail chat. If you haven't checked out Steven Seagal's channel, he does primarily.
It was his birthday the other day, so it was nice to.
Happy birthday for yesterday.
Yeah, happy birthday. He does some gaming streams. They do be really fun as well because they don't just do the game, like the game just be on the screen, but they do talk other stuff as well. You know, sometimes I think they forget they're on stream because it sounds like a couple of girls and lads in the pub having a conversation, and it can be really enlightening and funny. So yeah, I had a good time playing on that channel.
PD Rich said he's available to come on the stream.
Yeah, I was going to say PD's. Well, I think he's finished with modding now on Rabbi's by the sounds of it. So
right, well, PD has made me decision making easy anyway because he said he'll stick on the new Who panel. But as this is the old format, he can obviously come on today. But the format now, I have sent Alpha a message as well. And the only reason why I'm saying it live on the stream is because I don't want him coming back saying I didn't send him a message. So I've explained the whole situation, and I've sent an email. I've sent a message.
You do it passively aggressively.
So
you have to do it that way, or he doesn't understand you.
Yeah. So I've just said it to him because you know yourself. I don't want there to be any misunderstanding, like there always is. But hold on, Cheryl's just come in there. Just want to check on. So you two guys just talk there for a second.
All right, Queenie, how's it going?
Hello. I do find it funny how.
Sorry, go on.
I do find it funny how.
You are, and I'll talk over you. Go on. I'm doing it again. And then again.
Typically, yeah. I do find it funny that now it's evolved to Queenie in the chat. I've noticed that. What were you going to say?
No, I just say I moved my entire setup upstairs into my lounge, and it's.
I was going to say, you
nicer
sound
up
a bit different. I was going to say,
Yeah?
you sound a tiny bit different.
Yes, it's so much more relaxed in here. I love my lounge, and I spent hardly any time in it whatsoever because I was in my little box studio.
So you're not in a dark little corner anymore.
No, it's like I was facing a blank wall, and in a room that's really kind of empty and boring. And I've got my beautiful lounge up here, and I'm really pleased with it. And it's got my huge TV and everything, and it's just like, why am I not up here?
Yeah, you've got a whole space, and you're not even using it.
Right, and it's my favorite space in the whole place. So just like, I'm moving my desk up here, and I did it all by myself.
Do you know what also is fun? Because we've been doing Hartnell the last couple of weeks. I can so tell when you did your little reading, you were channeling some of Hartnell.
Oh yeah, well I tried to channel as many elements of the Doctors as I could. But there's a bit of Troughton in there, a bit of Davison in there.
With the panicking, yeah. With the panicking. But no, it's because obviously we've been watching William, and it just made me think a bit about some of the lines you did, and I was like, oh, I can really tell because I knew you liked Bill.
You gotta have a bit of the original one in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She seems to be a little bit.
Oh, how is she doing? Is she?
Well,
yeah. How's the back?
She went out earlier today, and when she was crossing the road, the big firework went off, and Ted tried to bolt down the road, and I think she slipped off.
Whiplash.
And she has a bad back anyway, as you know, ourselves with the disability that she has. Like, she slips a disc or anything like that, she's fucked. But she's walking around now, but she's still in a bit of pain. So she came out for a bowl of bleeding cereal because she's not in the humor. We had a bleeding chipper yesterday, man. Fucking hell, man. I was like, Cheryl, no more, man.
Well, my dad's had back issues for years, so I know just the slightest thing can just really cripple.
I slipped my disc twice as a teenager, and it's never been the same since.
Yeah, she's been in a lot. She's in a lot of pain, but I'll just gave her a hug there. That should be all right. As husbands do. I might be a prick sometimes, but
you love her. That's what matters.
That's exactly it. So we got PD Rich in the chat. I'm tongue-tied. We got PD Rich in the studio. So here he is.
Hello, this is the last time I'm doing this. Last time, unless someone's ill.
Yeah. Well, listen, you'll be on New Who now, so it'll be all right. You know where you are.
Yeah, that's my disclaimer. Last time.
Yeah.
Only doing this with Daleks.
Obviously, next week we won't be doing New Who on a Sunday. So what I'll do is we'll arrange, as I said, I might do it Monday. Haven't put the schedule out yet, but it'll be next Monday. It won't be this Monday coming, obviously, because everything will be changed around. Right, it's $2 Canadian super chat from Fat Steven Seagal, and excuse my pronunciation here. Herniated, there we go, I said it. Jesus Christ. Spine, if operated on, would paralyze me, says Fat Steven Seagal.
Yeah, I have scoliosis, so, and I was told, I had an X-ray, I saw it, it's like fucking Superman's insignia. I was like, what the fuck? And then they said, well, you've got a choice. You can have surgery to straighten it or not have surgery. But it's 50-50 if you'll ever walk again. So I'm like, okay, I'll stick with it.
I'll take yours.
Seriously.
There's ways now, but isn't there now today? Like, you don't, for scoliosis where the spine's twisted now. Can't they straighten it without an operation now, though?
Still risky, though. I think it's still risky just because it's your back.
Yeah.
And it's so many nerves and everything up there that if you get one.
Now?
There you go. He says spinal injuries are no joke. Yeah, well, look, my dad has suffered with his back now. I've got a wife that suffers with her back. I mean, this is how weird it is. Cheryl will last year, I'll give you an example. Last year, she was sitting on the chair beside me. She got up and could hear a huge crack. And she fucking did her kneecap in. She just stands up, man, and something happens to her. She's very fragile, my wife. She'd be wrapped up in cotton wool. But yeah, it's because of this fucking thing that Ryan was supposed to have in Doctor Who, but it was nothing like what Ryan had in Doctor Who.
Oh, no, trust me. I can talk from what my work is, and I won't say anything else, and some personal experience. That was a joke, the way they did it. That was an absolute joke, and it's one of the few times that I've actually... I hate to use the term because it's so overused, but I actually felt a bit offended because I was like, you know nothing, and you're using that term and you're banding it around like you're so clever, and you know nothing about if you have it, if you've had to work with it, if you've had to dealt with it in any form whatsoever.
What's that?
Want to welcome Robert Campbell Stonebanks. He says, hi, all. I'm not very good at the chat, but I can press the one key when needed to. Yeah, very welcome to the chat. Nice to see you all. And it's nice to see Fat Steven Seagal there. You're not
I'll give him a plug in a second. We
also had, I feel bad for, was it Stephen in the chat in your contact chat who we've not seen in ages?
Yeah, Stephen yesterday.
He's nice to see him.
Yeah, he wants, I think Stephen sent me a message. I think he wants to be part of the series 13 panels. So I remember he was very, if you saw, Charlotte even remembers him as well. He was very prominent in the chat.
Yeah, and then obviously family issues, God love him, and health stuff.
Issues. His dad took a heart attack, and then obviously he was telling me his daughter's going through some stuff at the moment.
Jeez,
but everything is he said his dad is fine and stuff. But it was nice to see him back. Yeah, it's as I said yesterday. There's a lot of people that tuned out of this channel that all of a sudden are coming back. Maybe it's got to do with the RTD era. I don't know.
I think so.
But, no, I think it is. It's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we didn't have that one for so long, and now we do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think people are kind of interested to hear what I have to say. So it's going to be an interesting time, as I said. Right, we've got 20 people watching. Well, 18 now. It's jumped down. That always happens. As soon as I mention how many is in the watching, right, it always goes down on me or something. It never goes up. It always goes down. We've got 18 people watching. I'm afraid to say 18 just in case it goes down to 16. But I just came for an invite and to sound like a foreigner. I mean, do you want to come on? Do you like Doctor Who? If you're a Doctor Who fan, you can come on if you have the Dalek episode. I'd love to hear your point of view on
here as well.
That'd be interesting. But if everybody in the chat is ready, just press 1. I might as well
be careful because it's got a weird intro, isn't it? This one.
Does it? See,
straight from
I'm watching it on the site that me and Charlotte normally watch it on. So
that with the Daleks intro.
Now,
so I'm just playing it now.
Yeah, I do have the DVD, but I can't be bothered me arse to go and find it, to be quite honest with you. So I just decided I put the PlayStation on and watch it on this. It doesn't.
If you've got a DVD version and you push play, or you want to go fast forward by 20 seconds.
Oh, right.
So just, yeah.
Right, I wonder if it has this. It might have it on this though.
It comes up with that the beginning.
I don't think it does. Pretty sure it
I don't know this site is so fucking
slow. So if you
slow.
play all on a DVD, you get it.
Well, do you remember the days we used to use this site and it come on straight away? Now all of a sudden it's very slow. I don't know. I think they've done something to it because it's gone very sluggish. Wait, are we watching in one go? Well, there's 4 parts to this Dalek story, isn't there? 4 or 5 parts.
I think. There's 6.
6
oh, no,
parts.
7. Isn't it 7 parts?
Yeah,
so
but
that's what I watched.
say 25 minutes episodes though, so it's not as long as some of the newer stuff.
Right. Well, I forgot it was that long.
Do you though?
Split it into 2.
Oh yeah, you could do that if you want. Do you want to do then up to if it's 7 parts?
It's 7 parts, is it? So we do the first 3 this week, maybe 3, 4. We'll see how it goes. Will we?
3 or 4 is not a bad. Maybe if we see how late it is by the time we get to episode 3.
Exactly, because Charlie, you leave at 10 anyway. So what we'll do is we'll whatever episodes we're on, and then if there's how many minutes is left, then we'll be able to judge. Yeah. Right. So we will continue this story. So Sadako says do the first 4, I say. Yeah, we'll do the first 4, right? And then we'll do the 3 then when I do the new schedule. Well, no, actually Classic Who stays on a Saturday because it won't.
Yeah, so just we'll do up to 4 if you want. Yeah. That works.
So we'll do the first 4. Okay, that's fair enough. At least we've all actually, so what I'll do is I'll change the video and I'll show it up and I'll say part 1 or put the first 4 parts or something like that, or some stupid thing like that.
Your Muslim uncle, I love that name, by the way. And we're doing William Hartnell, the first Dalek story.
Yeah, he said he's just downloading from iTunes the story. So let's.
Right, well, we'll give him a minute. We'll give him a minute. Yeah, we won't start till everybody in the chat is ready. That's how we do it.
This was odd though, watching it for me, because this was another one that it was my first time watching it today.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask this briefly. What did you think of it, Charlotte, for your first time watching it? Did you enjoy it?
I think the basic premise is really good. I really like the sort of interplay also between like the I can never say their names. The Thals, I always butcher that, and the Khalid.
And the Khalids, yeah.
And the Khalid. And I found it really interesting how they portrayed pacifism actually, because they don't vilify it, they don't make it seem as a weakness, they give it a lot of nobility almost, which is interesting. And I've also got a bit of a theory, and I had this before a bit, I watched it, but now I've watched it, that I think when it comes to the Doctor, it was this experience with the Daleks that was the starting point for him wanting to defend others, because he saw that pure hatred and wanting to kill in the Daleks that sort of switched a bit of something in him. And it was after this where you start to see him being a bit more proactive in helping others. And it was just because of what happens in this story. And I think that's sort of my little fan theory in my head now.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, don't forget though, we talked about the morality of the last story, the Cave of Skulls. The situation where
that's what I mean.
He did try and bump someone off, but it was he understood that the group to survive, they had to be able to be light-footed and keep moving. And it was very. And
that's what I'm saying. I think my idea for this is the start. It's obviously not. I'm not saying he's fully I'm going to defend the planet and do all that yet. But I think he's seeing this is him sort of a wake-up call almost, to make him go, no, actually, when there's things like Daleks in the universe that can be that evil and that prone to murder, that somebody needs to stand up a bit. And I think it's the start of that, and he's got a long way to go. But my little theory is this is the starting point, the little incident that made him become what we know later.
Yeah, Charlotte, quick question. Did you see the Peter Cushing version of this before you saw this version?
Yes, I did actually.
Did it ruin it for you, or did it make it better? Because I had the opposite experience. It kind of ruined this for me when I first saw it.
Well, I see them as very different things.
Yeah.
Because they're so. Also, because the atmosphere, the theming, obviously one's colour, one's black and white.
Yeah.
The sort of the setup with Ian and Barbara is very different.
Yeah.
And Susan as well. So I see them as very much different entities, but I can see how one is sort of a very loose adaptation.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
Yeah. Problem I had when I first saw this, when I first released it with the telesnaps, I kind of thought, oh god, this looks like a cheap version of the Peter Cushing. But when I got older and watched it again, I realised there was far more in it than in the Peter Cushing one. The whole radiation thing they're doing at the end. They don't dump a neutron bomb. They just shoot radiation out everywhere. Plan to anyway and get foiled, but so much more in this one than there is.
Oh yeah, and like I said, there's a whole commentary of war throughout the whole of this.
Yeah, I agree with Michael there. He did do a good job as as the Doctor in the 2 Dalek movies.
Yeah. Nothing wrong
You
with
know,
He wasn't the Doctor. He was Doctor Who.
Yeah,
he was
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
There is a fan theory out there which I really like. Right, that they were. I think they were actually going to do this as well. I think Moffat had in plan to do this.
Yes, I've heard this.
Before you say Arton, is it all right if we start and then you can say your point while we're starting? Because Charlotte is only here till 10. We're at 10 to 9 now, so we want to get in at least the first 3 parts. I don't know if we'll even get the first 4 done. So if everybody in the chat is ready, and then Lee is going to make his point, but if everybody in the chat is ready, please press 1 so we can start straight.
Well, whilst you're pressing your ones, I'll just say that I think there were plans to make the Peter Cushing movie canonized in the show by having it where Ian and Barbara came back to Earth, sold the rights to the story to make, and the film was made about their story. I mean, that would be the Doctor
and
in the
going to be a poster.
That is a good one.
Yeah. There was going to be a poster put up on when he went to the archive in the Tower of London. You know the way it wipes your memory? There was going to be a poster on the wall, but last minute something to do with the copyright or whatever, and he couldn't do it. But Lee is actually right. He did try make those movies to a certain extent canon within the Doctor Who universe.
As soon as I heard that, it was canon anyway. Because I thought brilliant. Absolutely brilliant idea.
That is good.
Is canon.
But that's how you do it, though, isn't it? The way Moffat did it. That's how you do it, though. If you want to do something like that, that's exactly how you do it. It's just a pity that he never got the rights to do it, because I agree with you, Lee. It was a nice little moment. I would have liked to see those movies become canon in some way.
And that's the perfect way to do it.
It would have been. It would have been.
So your Muslim uncle's got it downloaded. Sweet. So we're all ready to go.
Okay then.
Well then, there you go. Lee got his point across. But Queen Charlotte, you know what to do, love.
Yep. So 5, 4, 3, 2,
maybe
1.
Okay.
Go.
1.
Oh, I've just seen.
Go.
Yeah, going back to Lee's point just now, I think that's what they should have done with 2016 Ghostbusters in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Made like it's a terrible spin-off.
Yeah.
Just hide it in the back.
But I quite like the whole approach of it's never happened, which is the vibe I'm getting.
Because the Guardian's not happy. Most of the newspapers are not happy with the movie from what's his face, Jason Rittman.
Yeah, because like I said, from the vibe I got, even from the first trailer, I was like, they're acting like that horrible movie never happened. So that's
well, if you watch the international trailer, right? Because they dropped the international trailer a couple of days back, they're definitely ignoring the 2016 version.
Yeah.
Well, they ignored the original version, so why the fuck should we ignore this version?
Yeah.
Listen, right? At the end of the day, right? It didn't work, right?
Yeah.
It was a nice idea, right? But everybody wanted women and men, or boys or girls, in the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and for them to recognise the actual events that happened in the original 2 films. But they didn't do that.
They didn't do that, so. Because they didn't do that, the movie was received badly, and it didn't help.
Do as I say, not as I do. That's what I don't like about all this.
But you know what didn't help it either? When you had the actresses, especially Leslie Jones, coming out with our rhetoric, and our shit, and they're still bitter because when it came out that Afterlife was going to happen, the first thing they all came out and said was, "Well, we can't believe that our version got so much stick." Well, listen, it doesn't matter whether they made comments or not, right? Okay? You watch that movie by itself and you've never watched the Ghostbusters movie and you watch that movie, it's shit. It's absolute dire. It's rubbish. It's like manure. Seriously, diarrhea. You name it. The jokes in it even are not even funny. That's the thing. They did a lot of female jokes, which I found quite offensive, to be quite honest. Well,
the way they treated Chris Hemsworth's character was abysmal. Absolutely.
It's a feminist wet dream, wasn't it, really?
But they did that deliberately because he was Thor, a strong man in the movie. So what can we do? We'll get this strong man.
Humiliate him.
What we'll do is we'll take him down a step or two and we'll make him a tick in the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, sod that.
Yeah.
It's
yes, and sorry, I said I'm going to laugh every time I say that name. Your Muslim uncle. We have started. When I say go, that means you press play. You obviously.
Do you want to give him a timestamp to show where we're at?
I'm at just coming up to 3 minutes.
But it's probably 3 minutes.
Yeah,
minus 20 seconds.
And Ian are talking. Ian is talking now.
Yeah, about the dead forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just noticing the stoneness of everything, aren't they?
Fat Steven says there were jokes in Ghostbusters 2016.
I must have blinked and missed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just waiting to hear
the casting and the writing. I think those are two of the biggest.
I really can't wait for Afterlife now. I'm really
excited. Looks fantastic.
I haven't been excited about a movie, any movie, in about 3 or 4 years, and I'm really, really excited about this. And the fact that even, the reviewers, they're saying, when they say things like, "Look, this will please Ghostbusters fans, but it'll also bring in a new audience." That actually excites me because it means then they've gotten the balance. They got the balance. Fat Steven Seagal, the whole movie is a joke.
I know.
There's a successor, I believe, to both originals. Yeah, that's what the journalists are saying. They're saying it pays homage to the other two while giving us something new. And that's what Ghostbusters fans have wanted for decades, right?
They never really went into this mechanical monster, did they?
Maybe this isn't Ghostbusters 3, but it will be the sequel that we all deserve. And yes, fans do deserve it. And you know what? It's bitter. The newspapers and the critics and all these fans of the 2016 version are bitter because they're saying, they're giving all the fanboys what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, about bloody time.
Yeah, it's what we want. It's what we'll pay for.
Oh, fanboys and fangirls. Because that's sexist. Just saying only boys liked it. That's really sexist.
Problem, we don't exist when we don't fit their narrative. It's fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do we know if I don't know what I was going to say now.
But I'm just waiting for the witty one-liner about Ghostbusters 2016 and Afterlife. Oh, the Pete thing.
No, like I said, I don't think they're even going to do that. I think they're just going to act like
what? They have a throwaway line because the journalists, that's why they're all going mad.
Yeah.
There is a throwaway
finger. There's a middle finger, isn't there?
Is Sigourney Weaver going to be in it? Do we know?
No, I don't think she is.
They've kept that. Right. Listen, we've seen 3 trailers now, two trailers, and then the international trailer. She hasn't featured. Dan Aykroyd
might be a
one.
surprise.
But remember, Ernie Hudson is also in this movie, and Bill Murray. We haven't seen them in the trailer. I say they're holding some of the
Dan Aykroyd is definitely
people back, but
yeah, they will be.
I would love to see Sigourney Weaver, but I haven't heard anything about her, but I have heard about the rest of them. Even Rick Morales, he hasn't obviously featured in the trailer, but apparently
he's all right now.
Locked down and tied up in this movie. So
it'd be great to see Rick Moranis back.
Yeah,
especially
after that horrible incident that he was attacked.
Yeah, poor guy.
In a racist attack.
I remember that video. That was shocking. I mean, the guy retired because his wife died to look after his kids, make sure the kids went to college. Proper true. Like, he's got a heart of gold.
Hero dad.
And then to see him walk through New York and mind his own business and to be sucker punched the way he was. And that was violent, boys. That was violent.
And he was attacked because of the color of his skin. I mean, and that gets brushed aside. And it's an absolute nonsense to say that people, because of the dint of the color of their skin, are more oppressed or not oppressed. It's like, I'm sorry, if you're being punched in the face, you are being oppressed, right? Yeah. Regardless. So all this political nonsense.
There's now talk of making white privilege racist, actually, now.
Well, they need to, and that's all I'll say on that matter.
Speaking of race baiting, we were watching the Daleks. The archetypal space Yahtzees.
I love this bit of music. Yeah. I love this bit of music. Yeah. It's proper, like, it feels oppressive.
Yeah, I wonder if I've got it. I'll send it to you if you want.
Because you got to.
Beautiful
Because
model
am I
shot.
right? Was the I can't speak either tonight. The BBC Philharmonic Orchestra, were they around before Doctor Who?
No, I don't think so. Actually, I think
Radiophonic Workshop.
Radiophonic
Sorry,
Workshop
that's
was.
it.
Yeah.
Because if this is like their first work, it's good.
Yeah, I got the first CD, the first and second ones,
and they're still going. They're still going. Not as the BBC Radiophonic Workshop anymore, but they are still the Radiophonic Workshop.
Yeah. They shut down the BBC one in the
it's
90s.
an absolute shame.
Yeah, I'd love to work there.
Outsource everything they did. Yeah,
I know. They really are outsourcing everything now. BBC Studios owns everything.
Yeah.
Well, anything they want to actually make money from.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus Christ! I tell
21st century.
BBC ever since this Doctor Who flux, they're really plugging it, aren't they, on their social medias?
They're not showing the trailer allowed. They are showing it, but they're not showing it anywhere near as much as they did for the other ones, which I find really surprising. And I said this on Dan's stream. I think it's stupid to do it all on social media.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they're playing to their audience, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because that's where they get the most affirmation that they can get. Because anywhere else, people are just going, "This is bollocks." And even on Twitter, there's still a bunch of us who go, "Not impressed," and that's just the sad reality of it. But they have been doing this since the beginning of this era, gaslighting everyone and making it all about, the new audience that they've attracted, which has been absolutely vile to a lot of people, as we all know. But anyway, sod that lot. We're watching a classic.
I love this introduction because, like I said, the styles. I'm getting better. Like their introduction is so shady and sort of mysterious, but once you meet them, like I said, you sort of fall in love with them as a race. You just see these really well-meaning and
repressed,
And the irony is they're like blonde-haired.
Yes.
Blue-eyed. It's like the archetypal.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
But it's actually the Daleks are actually the.
That's the whole thing. Like when Susan first meets them, she says they called you mutants, and it is sort of like I said. There's a lot of. I agree with PD. When you probably if you did watch this as when you were a kid or when you were younger, you wouldn't get half the subtext.
Nuances,
But there's so much about war and about how war affects races and people, and how it can make one race go one way and the other race go the complete opposite way.
And bearing in mind, this is just less than 20 years after the end of the Second World War.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when it comes to war, because another thing, like I studied history when I was at school, and it was something that I was considering doing for my university, but I didn't in the end. But it's like, and so it's like if you look at war, it's so easy to say one side's all villains, and you got to remember that's not how human nature works.
Well, yeah, but not every German soldier was fighting because they believed in the Nazi cause, but they were fighting for their country, and for each other. And a lot of people forget that. They just assume that all of them were Yazis and all.
Yeah, and they all had those views, and they all had they all believed the sort of guff that the Yahtzee party was saying, but that's the power of them. They could get ordinary citizens to believe their rhetoric.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Yazis are only about 8% of the population, but they managed to control everyone else, and that's generally how revolutions and situations like that arise. You don't always end up with the majority making the decisions. You get like a small percentage. Usually about 8% is the tipping point. And that's what happened there. And that happens throughout history. If you look at the French Revolution, the Revolution for Independence in America, it's a very small minority of people that actually managed to galvanize and to control revolutions and flip things over. It only takes 8%.
Yeah, the real Yahtzee party were going to kick Hitler out after they got elected. They didn't like him. And they managed to hang on.
I just seen something on Twitter, and do you know what? People are just so dumb. So you've all heard about Alec Baldwin and the tragic accident that happened, but apparently now there's new information come to light that, you know, obviously there's been problems behind the set, and it wasn't the first time that there was accidents involving a gun. But some idiot has decided. This is a check mark, by the way, right? And I know it's nothing to do with Doctor, but I have to read this because this by far is probably the dumbest tweet that I've ever seen on Twitter in all the years that I've been on Twitter, right?
That's impressive.
Now, I'm serious. I've seen some dumb shit, and Lee will tell you, I've seen some dumb shit on that platform, but this has to be the dumbest shit that I've ever seen. So this gobshite who's a check mark turns around and says,
naturally,
might the prop gun have been secretly loaded with real bullets by a Trump supporter to punish Alec Baldwin for his Trump's parodies? Should be a line of inquiry.
They're just obsessed.
That's Trump derangement syndrome, like on steroids.
We're gonna have to hand them over to Gothic therapy for that one.
How disgusting to use such a horrible tragedy like that to politicize it. And this is what these people always do. They always politicize tragedy and turn it into a political point scoring. And they've got absolutely no editorial facility in their brains, you know.
This was my response. You're a fucking idiot. Seriously, get a grip, you fool. And I get it, you hate Trump, but seems like your brain cells are dead, you dope.
Yeah.
It was like that.
We just saw the TARDIS food dispenser, by the way.
Brain Leak is trying to take credit for the Chris shit off of the RT.
Well, no, there's a conspiracy theory going around that, and again, this is a conspiracy theory that was on Twitter, because the director of photography who passed away, she apparently is married to a lawyer who was seeking to impeach the Clintons or something, and it's like, now there's that side, and it's like I disagree with it on both sides, right? Or it's the Trump support, it's the Clintons, you know. Look, leave it to the police to find out what the hell happened.
It was the Cylons, I tell you.
Enough of these conspiracy.
It was like when Screen Leak came out, right? Screen Leak came out, tried to take credit for the RTD stuff. I said, I responded to them because I've had a few run-ins with them for lying because they tried to say Sally Wainwright and I was going to be showrunner. I said, you're wrong. And now all of a sudden, Air Sources predicted RTD was going to write for this. I said, no, you didn't. I said, I predicted this over a year ago. I said, anyway, you're as useful as a used condom.
Chocolate teapot.
No, actually, I wrote, you're as reliable as a used condom. That's what my response was to them. They haven't responded back to me because they know better. But listen, don't be listening to them. They only set up this year. They did, right? Then they came out with some shit. And you know what? If you actually look at what they're writing, they're doing Spider-Man stuff and all of this, right? This is all stuff that's public knowledge, but they twist it in such a way to make it out that they're the ones that came out with it first.
Clickbaiters.
And then here it was, right? Well, our news source, we only got a news source on board, and within 2 days he gave us the RTD stuff. And I was like, well, I brought this a year ago, you muppet.
Yeah, provably.
Damage round on the background.
Oh yeah, and this is the start of the Doctor's deception. And I've got to say, when I was watching this, even I was like, "Oh, this is a coincidence."
Yeah, just like I said that look, even that the Chris Chibnall stuff when he did that interview proved me right yet again. With my sources, I told you he wanted to leave long before. To run. The man wasn't fucking capable of writing Doctor Who. Knew he was over his fucking head. And I told you he's ran, and he admitted that he tried to hand over the baton a long time ago. So again, my sources were vindicated yet again. I told you this man didn't want to fucking stay. He doesn't even know. I'm starting to think this man pretended. You know what he was? He was the SJW back in the day because he was the moany bitch back in the day, giving out about everything. Oh, running down corridors and all this. Well, it looks like you're going to be running down corridors again for your fucking shut the fuck.
Doctor Who trope, mate. Of course you're going to be doing it.
He's all it is. He's all of these leftist twats today that we deal with. He was the first one, maybe.
You're going to be zooming down corridors on segways.
I don't even think, I'm going to call him out straight and say I don't think that man was ever a fan. I think he latched on to a fandom because look at the state of him. Nobody would have looked at him when he was growing up anyway, the ugly looking bastard, right? So he needed to feel part of something. So the red-headed prick decided, I'll become a Doctor Who fan. It's at least then like I'll look like I'm interested. So look at everything he says. He hasn't got a fucking clue. He's an embarrassment. He is.
Yeah,
I just love how he turned up at a TV studio dressed in a suit and tie.
No, a suit. A fucking suit. Get away.
Yeah. He was an 80s activist, wasn't he? 80s activist.
That's what he was.
Latched onto the franchise.
Back then that they have today. No wonder they all love him.
Yeah. Because he's just them.
But and someone tried to say that Whittaker didn't fail as the Doctor. I said she did. Fucking spectacularly failed. Then he tried to say, well, Tom Baker said that she was wonderful. Yeah, Tom Baker says she's wonderful, but doesn't watch the show. Of course, he's going to come out and be complimentary to the whoever plays the Doctor, because that's what they do. But he also said in an interview when she was first cast, if you want to go back to interviews that he did, he said that if she failed, then she should be killed off. Right? So he said if the ratings started to dip and she failed, she should be killed off. That actually someone sent that quote to someone who was having an argument with them. And as soon as he sent that little quote to the interview that Tom Baker did, they blocked. They blocked them. And I was like, for God's sake, man. See, when they throw facts at you, these people run. But look, we won't have to put with these morons when RTD's era starts because I won't be listening to them.
Quiet again, yeah.
They can say whatever the fuck they want. I'll be ignoring them, as I've been doing on Twitter lately, as you know.
Yeah, and they call us an echo chamber. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, we kind of have become a little bit. We did for a while become a little bit of an echo chamber. Let's be honest.
We had to back it.
But no, in fairness, we were justified, but we did. We did become echo.
They harassed us. I mean, what choice did we have to do but find each other? You know,
sometimes you got to become
but we still disagree amongst ourselves anyway. You know, like
I was going to say that the difference is we don't shut each other down. It's like you on a couple of streams ago. You think the woman who fell to earth was like a quite good first episode, and I'm like, no, to me it was boring dross. It's like. But we're still friends. We still talk. We don't shut each other down.
It's a very mediocre first series.
Don't you just love the use of perspective and that?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The direction
Star Trek
here.
Still used that.
Gobby guys in the chat. He goes, yo yo yo,
classic.
Yo yo yo,
Gobby guy.
Welcome, Gobby. And we still have Fat Steven Seagal in the chat. Thought he would have been gaming. It's great to see you all, man. I have to say, I love seeing when we haven't seen people in a while pop up in the chat. Does really give me a bit of a buzz, I have to say.
Nice that Stephen. It's fine, mate. It's fine.
Because I was going to say, anybody else, maybe this is just my weird brain when I was watching this. I almost had this feels a bit like Willy Wonka if it was like a horror.
It does, it does. It's like a dark Willy Wonka, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know, even the food thing made me think of that gum that they chew and it's 3 different flavors. Afterwards, I was like, is it just me? I've got weird
dark Willy Wonka, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It does feel like dark Willy Wonka.
Get well soon, Gobby. Gobby says he's being ill. I hope you're
get well, man.
I hope it's not
the I hope it isn't that too serious.
I mean, not the obviously. You know what I mean? It's the thing that's going around at the moment. Yeah, the coup.
Yeah, the coup. Really coup. SM says greetings from Canada. It's nice to have another Canadian. We have
from the People's Republic of Canada.
That's it. We normally have people like Balstrek on, who's also from Canada. So
we seem to attract them.
Yeah, he's rowing with Lexi at the moment.
I've seen the photo. We went to the shop or something.
Yes.
See the photograph.
dare you?
He had the coof. Oh, sorry to hear
I'm
that.
sorry to hear that, buddy.
Oh, man.
If you got over it more than 5 weeks, you beat my record. There we go.
I hope you're doing okay, though, mate.
Same here.
You know yourself. Plenty of
new C word, isn't it? Really?
Plenty of boost your own immune system up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm starting to get into a bit of an awkward situation now because obviously Cheryl wants to get the thing, because if she doesn't, she won't be able to go home. And now I've got this decision to make: do I get it with her, or do I not get it and risk myself?
No one needs to say, "Look after Ted."
That's the thing now. I'm in a situation here now where, because you all know my stance on it, but if my wife gets it, more than likely I'll have to go and get it, because I don't want to put her in danger or put myself in danger. You know,
whether another 10 years until you actually need it, though.
Iconic shot.
Yeah, that's the shot.
There's quite a few in this.
Here, listen, will we just go straight into the next one? Because, we're at 1:15 now. If we get straight into the next one, we might get 3. I think we're going to be only able to do 3 this week, folks, because it's 1:15 now. So if you think about it logically, it's 24 minutes each episode. So, Charlotte, that'll get us up to 10 o'clock. So, 2 more episodes. We'll do we'll do 4 next week. We'll do the 4 next week. So if you're already in the chat, just please press 1. I'm not faxed. I had a rough few days, but getting better now. Not bad. 52 and overweight. Well, that's
Christopher
good.
Barry directed that.
But again, as I said,
next episode,
everybody knows what my personal stance is on it. But if my wife gets it, more than likely I'm gonna have to, because if we want to go to America as well, and if I want to travel.
Yeah,
they have you by the balls.
I know they do. They seriously
do. That's coercion. That is.
But look, I really if my wife wants to go back home and she wants me to go, I can't. I'm not going to refuse. She's my wife, I'm in an awkward situation. Oh, Jesus.
I know. They really play your balls, don't they? And then when you get the jab, it's like, oh no, you got to go back into lockdown. It's like, what?
I know, apparently to get the 2 and then a booster. And now they're talking about you might have to take tablets for the rest of your life and all of this.
I mean, follow the money. Medicalization of an entire nation is very,
placebo
very,
tablets.
very
They're not placebo tablets.
Yeah, but let's not talk about, because I've heard YouTube channels are getting pulled down for even mentioning the fucking thing. So let's leave it there. Right, but let's get going. So, Charlotte, without further ado, because loads of people did press 1 in the chat.
Yeah, they've been very good tonight. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Grand. So we'll get this one on, and we'll get another one done, and then we'll do 4 next week, because that'll bring us up nicely to 10 o'clock, and I want to get Charlotte's opinion before she leaves as well. So, that's my fault. Sorry, I'm a bit late tonight, but what happened today and stuff like that. It's just been one of those days, man.
Nice one to Daco.
So episode 2, The Survivors.
Yeah,
I've seen the videos of the firefighter and the police officer that had to give up their jobs because they refused to follow the mandates. And, it was very sad watching them, because you could see that they were devastated that they had to give up their life's work. And these are people that save people's lives, to be treated like that. Look, this world is gone. It's gone. I saw something the other day I sent to Lee as well. There's this book, educational, well, it's supposed to be an educational book. And on one of the pages, you actually see a character give another character, how do I say it? Oral.
I don't think you can.
And this is aimed at
kids, for that.
I sent it to Lee, and Lee was like, "What the fuck?" It was like, seriously, man. This world is
studying that stuff till secondary school.
So protect your kids. Protect your kids.
It's not primary or junior school.
Seriously, man. Do it. Protect your kids, and do whatever you have to do to protect your kids from all.
And now they're trying to, in America, they're now trying to make angry parents at PTA meetings classed as terrorists.
Oh,
I mean, it's outrageous.
Oh, I seen that video on that TikTok video.
Those parents should say, "Takes a terrorist to know a terrorist."
Singing, calling everybody terrorists, and I was looking at it and I was saying, "Jesus, love."
So if you're not a radical neo-Marxist postmodernist, you're a terrorist.
One too many burgers. No wonder you're coming out criticizing, because you're so angry at yourself that you're so fat that you're coming out and you're slagging everybody else. Why not lose a bit of weight and get your life on track and stop worrying about what kids... Listen, kids are innocent, right? They shouldn't be corrupted like this.
Yeah.
Right? Society is screwed. This is the same society that a professor came out and said that we should forgive paedophiles and allow them back into society. Like, this is where we're heading. This is where we're heading, right? It's absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. I'm glad my daughter is bleeding 17, 18 years of age, man. It doesn't have to fucking be perverted by all of this rubbish.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Not even teaching them anything useful now.
Innocence is gone. Innocence is gone.
Oh, it's dead, mate. Innocence is dead.
Yeah, parents were harsh with us and stuff like that. But we grew up, our childhood, you know, when I look back now and I see what kids are growing up with now, do you know what? My childhood wasn't as bad as I fucking thought it was. I fucking should have embraced it a lot more.
I mean,
I wish I did.
It's almost as if the Dalek invasion of Earth happened and we're living through it.
Yeah. I know. Right, I'll stop now. Back to that. Sorry, folks. That was my doing, but it's just, you know.
I brought it round with a good analogy.
I'm very passionate about this stuff. You know, the one thing, you know, I've always taken a lot of stick because, you know, I'll come out and defend kids' rights and defend, you know, the shit that they're being exposed to. You know, or not defend the shit, call out the shit that they're being exposed to. I have no problem about that for doing that, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, they're the next generation and they're being fucked up right now. They're being fucked up right now.
Yeah, you just got to hope it's sort of the thing about history, how it tends to repeat itself. You just got to hope the next generation rebel against all this rubbish.
Well, there's always one generation that does. Maybe the next generation
That's
will.
what I'm hoping. That they see it for what it is and they do the thing like it always happens. There comes a point when a generation sees what the elders are doing and they don't like it. Whatever the status quo is, there's always going to be a generation that's going to book it, that's going to fight it.
Keep them in its place. Keep them in their place.
And I'm hoping that the next generation is that.
Another classic shot.
Yeah.
This was
reveal.
Yeah, they always talk about this shot, famous shot, where they're walking through the...
Well, that's
someone
the thing.
polarized this, and I have to say, while it does look impressive, it's better in black and white. It's more scary or something.
Yeah, because also, like, watching this today, I was trying to almost delete all the things. I don't know if delete's the right word, but I was like trying to think. Obviously, me watching it now, I'm so used to Daleks. They're so iconic. I've sort of grown up watching them, and it's hard for me not to see them in a certain light because of that. So I was trying to, when I was watching this, think, right, imagine I've never seen a Dalek, and this is my first introduction to them. And I think it made me appreciate the design, because I just thought, seeing this, it's just the right amount of alien. It's just the right amount of future, but it's not too scary. Or I don't know, they're just the right mix.
Yeah.
By the way, this is unrelated, but do you know in the past 24 hours there has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 earthquakes worldwide.
Wow.
In the last 24 hours. And there's something going on at Yellowstone, by the way. And they're covering it up. I don't know what it is, but something huge is happening at Yellowstone, and they're covering it up. There's something going on. A geezer that hasn't actually went off in fucking decades, all of a sudden has. But they took a side the side comparison photograph of this hill that's in Yellowstone, and it's moved. It's moved. I reckon we're only either a couple of weeks or months away from a big major event at
we had
Yellowstone.
it in Canary Islands, didn't we?
I was going to say the volcano.
The volcano went off. Yeah. Wow.
The Earth is changing, folks. And by the way, you'll have all of these nuts tell you it's got to do with climate change and all of this.
It's got to do with wokeness. The
It's
Earth
nothing
has had
to
enough
do
of
with
the wokeness.
climate change, right? The Earth, our planet is changing.
It goes through
We just happen
cycles.
to be alive on it while it is changing. But you're going to get a lot more earthquakes. You're going to get a lot more volcanoes. It's just the way it is. The Earth is volatile. I think people forget that.
Yeah.
We're living on a planet that's very volatile. And the sun as well. Look, the Earth has changed on its axis. The sun, the solar. If you looked out at the sky this morning, it was very orange. There's been huge solar flares as well in the last couple of months as well. This is why the weather has been strange, why it's been kind of quite warm for a winter. Because think about it, this has been a mild winter so far. Well, Dublin, it definitely has. I don't know what it's like for the rest of the world. But this has been the mildest winter that I've known in all the years that I'm alive. Because normally now it does be absolutely freezing and iced over, and it's not like that now. So the weather is changing, but it's nothing to do. It's a natural. I don't know how people got duped with all of this climate change nonsense. But did you see the recent video of Greta, by the way?
Oh god!
No, because I just ignored
blah, blah, blah.
She's actually singing "Rare, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you." She was actually happy. She looked happy. I was like, "Holy shit!" That's the first time I've seen Greta smile.
Well, has she managed to escape from her parents or something?
I don't know, but she's right. But do you know the way they say roll licking and they play that song? That's what she was doing. She's roll licking the whole world. Like that's exactly what she was doing.
No, did you mean Rick rolling?
Oh, Rick rolling. That's the one.
Rolling the whole world. Yeah.
That's what she was doing
with her boyfriend.
She hadn't got a note in her head, but God love her, she looked like she was actually having a good time. But then I felt like making a comment. So you're all about climate change, but there you are on a stage with big speakers, microphones.
How much power is that using?
The lights need to be powered and all of that. I don't think that's very good for the environment there, love. Like, practice what you preach, and then I wouldn't mind. That's the thing. I wouldn't mind if Greta, came out and said the things that she was saying. If she practiced what she preached, like the girl has a mobile fucking phone, tweets on Twitter, and a computer. Yeah. They're not good for the environment, Greta. So
and tries to disable India.
Have you seen the spoof of this scene? It's like he's wandered into a kitchen at a Dalek restaurant, and he's like, it's really funny.
Yeah, and we got the gay Daleks.
Find it on YouTube. Well. It's really fun.
SM says it's been a warm October in New Brunswick. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's been very mild for winter. And remember, the UN did a report back in 1990, right? Or it was 1989. It was either 1989 or 1990. And they said that New York City would be underwater by the year 1999.
Never happened.
Never happened, right? So then they changed it. They moved the wheel. That was it wasn't climate change. What was It was global warming first.
Yeah. Remember? The UN fell apart. It really did. People stopped listening to them because everything they said didn't happen. They just got,
Are we going to go through 3 episodes and not say exterminate?
Oh, the Daleks haven't yet.
I don't think that became a thing till after this. I don't think they use exterminate once in this entire story.
No, they do. They do say exterminate in this story.
Yeah, near the end.
Right near the end.
This is a fascinating story now. The Dalek telling the Doctor about the 2 races.
No, and that's what I mean. This is another bit of war that it's like the subtext of. It's this idea of propaganda, and how one race can tell one side of a story and make themselves seem like they're innocent.
Yeah.
And then when you actually get the other end of the story, they're the villains. And that's what I mean. This is what we always say. You can have social messaging. You can have things that touch on real life, but they almost need to just touch on it and then keep it in their own context.
This was the story, though, that elevated this show, though. Even if Sidney Newman didn't like the fucking Daleks, this was the one that made it the success that it was. Without this, you know, people credit an early child. Yeah, while it is a good episode, I think it was this story, though, that did elevate it.
And that's the Daleks. I honestly think the design, they're just so... And I think there's a testament to that even when the show came back in 2005, that first Dalek we saw in that for series 1, yes, there were changes, but if you put it next to the classic Daleks, there's not a lot of change.
No.
It's just like very slight, the lights are slightly taller on the head. Like the eye stalk slightly different. They're a little bit different shell. That's about it.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Dalek story during the whole New Who run. It's still my favorite Dalek story. I don't think any other story comes close to that, to be quite honest. Which is sad because I saw such an iconic villain, and I don't think they have been treated well. Since that story, because even in RTD's, the last 2 episodes of Christopher Eccleston's series, when you had the God of all Daleks and all of that shit, I didn't like that. You know, that kind of pissed me off. But the Dalek story itself was brilliant. But here's the thing, and it just goes to show you the quality of RTD. As you all, I don't know, this is probably, I don't know how known this is, but the Daleks, because they were still negotiating with the Terry Nation estate, Christopher Eccleston's Doctor was actually pitted against the Toclafane originally, and then they got the rights to the last minute, so he rewrote that whole series. That's what people don't realize. He rewrote that whole series. He did, so he could have the Daleks in it. Because the Toclafane were originally supposed to be the enemy for Christopher Eccleston's 4th series, but instead he used the Toclafane, obviously, for David Tennant's 2nd series, which would have been series 3. So, you know, it's a testament to the man and his ability that he was able to rewrite the whole series 1 so he could have his Dalek story.
Yeah. That's why he was so stressed out and so chaotic in the first series.
Yeah, exactly. I think the problem... Sorry, no?
No, I was just going to say, Sadako makes a good point there. Makes sense as the Toclafane were also harvested humans. Exactly. And I think, you know, he kept that element of the story, but instead of using the Toclafane, he used, obviously, the Daleks. But we did get the Toclafane story then in Utopia, as you all know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was very clever. But go on, Charlie, you were going to add something there, love.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, if I were to say why I think New Who after that Daleks, like the Dalek as it's named, struggled, is they just became a massive force of like numbers. That's what I felt like. Russell almost got too excited with how many Daleks he could put on screen. Almost. Yeah,
I agree with
became, they're just this massive army, and it's like the lesser Daleks you almost have in a story as your force, it's more interesting.
Yeah.
Because they have to then be a bit more crafty. They have to think a bit more. They have to be more clever with their tactics. I mean, like, look, that's what they do in this story. The fact that they could kill Barbara, Ian, and the Doctor at any point, but they go, no, they're more useful alive to us. Like that's strategy. That's thinking. That's not just there to shoot people. And it's like they almost just became these shooting massive army of things.
Just walking turrets,
Yeah, like walking. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Walking turrets.
Oh, I've just seen something because Lee just retweeted there. So something's happened at Central Station. There's a load of police cars and ambulances. Central Station's New York, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Right, I'm gonna see if Arton's trending because something's at the happening.
Oh, and I love Ian
This
here.
world is grilled, guys. It really is, man.
Starting to feel the same way, says Rabbi.
I'm actually getting depressed.
Yeah.
I really am. Seriously, I'm starting to lose all faith in humanity now. I really am. I never thought it'd get this bad, man. I tell you, man, if I hadn't known that it was going to be this bad when I got to this age, I would have enjoyed myself a lot more back in the day.
Same as.
Being honest.
I'd have been far more free and open back in the day.
Same here.
Yeah. It's like I could sense all this happening like 20 years ago.
The thing that pisses me off is, like everybody else, I followed the rules. I stayed within the law.
Yeah.
You know, I contributed to society as we've all done, and now we're vilified and we're told that we're horrible human beings. And remember, these
we're discriminated against. Yeah,
now are going to be looking after us in hospitals and nursing homes when we get older. We're fucking screwed, lads.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I do think, because also Ricky Gervais commented similarly that he can't wait for these current kids, as he referred to them, to get to be not woke enough for the next generation. So it's either going to go either way. I think the people now who are loving to oppress are going to be suddenly the enemy, or like I said, the next generation's going to do the cultural thing that happens every decade or every so many years, that they just kick this stuff out.
Yeah, we need to purge it.
Right, I don't see Arton on this.
Yeah, if it was anything, it would have been trending right now, sadly.
Well, I think it's probably just happened, so, you know, it will take a few minutes. We'll see if anybody else reports. I hope it's not another fucking...
Yeah. Already had one in our country recently.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know what you're saying, but you don't want to say on stream. Yeah, I'm hoping as well.
That's it.
Exactly.
See, I like this with Susan. That she's already having to sort of prove herself and prove that she can be independent and risk herself, because Ian can't walk. The doctor's like nearly passed out.
Coming to radiation poisoning.
I know what you're saying, but could you do us a favor and remove that word that you just put in the chat, because YouTube is just a little bit.
Yeah,
I know what you're
silly.
saying, but we can't really mention on the stream or in the chat because
we have to talk around it, sadly.
Yeah. If you don't mind, it's just
I just deleted it. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, mate. That's it. Look, you live your life the way you want to live your life, yeah? Nobody should tell you how you should and shouldn't live your life. But you've got people in society dictating to us all the time.
And who was Boris hanging around with this week?
Good life, I have to say, and I have surrounded myself with people that I get on with, especially on this channel and obviously in my personal life as well. And that's the only thing you can do. Just surround yourself with nice people.
Yeah.
You know?
And
also, your friends and just try and live as best you can.
Yeah, and when it comes to entertainment, I'm increasingly more just picking the things I like to watch, and I'm sort of ignoring everything else and not letting stuff get me down as much, because it was getting me down, and now I'm just sort of at the stage where I'm just like, do you know what? I'm just going to watch the shows I like. Do you know? I'm just going to, even if it's the same, even if that means there's only 3 or 4 I really care about nowadays, and then just enjoying them. So I was going to say, I love that moment as well that we just had. That, like, obviously, I really think it's a good idea that they didn't give them a moment to breathe, the characters between the stories. That it's like they've just done Unearthly Child, they've just escaped from the caveman, and now they're in Skaro, and it's like they've not had a moment to talk or to sort of go through the issues that we were seeing in that story with the Doctor not caring and sort of Ian having to sort of butt heads with him a bit. So I think it's really clever idea that they go straight into something that's like high pressure as this story, but just then, even though Ian and Barbara have had cross words about the Doctor, they're showing that they still care. They're worried about his health. Well,
you see, what's interesting about this whole the dynamic between the Doctor, Barbara, and Ian is that, at first, when you first meet them, they're obviously very suspicious of the Doctor. He's very brash and harsh towards them. But as it goes on, and as the stories go on, they seem to their respect for him for the Doctor seems to grow with each episode. But him also, he actually then starts respecting Ian, because Ian was very dismissive about the future and all of this and didn't believe it. So you could see the character development even in the early days when this first started off was absolutely terrific. And you know what? I will say something about Susan. As you know, yourselves, I've always had a problem with Susan because I thought she was always screamy and stuff. But watching back now, she's not as bad as I remember.
I was thinking that last week. I said, how come
that has completely changed my way of thinking, but she is not as bad as I remember. She's actually not bad.
I said this last week. I was like, I thought that she's just a screamer, but from what I've seen of her, yes, she can have a moment, but she's pretty. Does what she has to when the moment arises.
Right, let's get straight into the next one, guys. Right, so just press 1 if he's already straight away. You don't have to wait for the titles to end. Just get the next episode ready. So Charlotte will definitely get this one in, and then we'll get Charlotte then to give our review of the first couple of or the first 3 episodes, and then we'll let her go because obviously it's getting a bit late, and that was my fault. But as I said, bit of a rough day today. Things happen out of me control. Fucking hate when she gets sick though, because it's like she'll have a good few weeks and everything be fine, and then something happens and it's just because it gets her down, gets her down. But then it gets me down because she's down, because I don't know how to help. There's nothing I can really do, except just say some nice words and try to see if she's comfortable. But that's it. It's horrible, man. I wouldn't like to be in that position.
No, not every illness like that.
Right, Charlie, you can go ahead there because we've got a few ones in the chat there.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
No, you
go.
Sort of what
go.
you
not go. What the hell are you talking about?
Twang.
Oh
my
God.
Twangy twang.
Oh God, my thing's not playing. Come on. There we go. I love how Lee was almost offended.
I was shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
Well, that's the only time I've not done it. I think.
Yeah, but it was noticeable. My goodness.
Escape written by Terry Nation. The thing about Terry Nation, though, was he kept changing the fucking Dalek story, didn't he? So, I mean, the Dalek canon is a bit all over the place. Like, she does well here. Great bit of acting there. She really does look scared. But I still will maintain, I still think she's a crap actress. But she is better than Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, but that's not exactly a high bar, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a brilliant shot. Just him in the dark and then slowly coming into the light. And then, like Lee said, you see this almost Greek, like Adonis-looking bloke.
Yeah.
Right. Well, according to TV Zone, hashtag Doctor Who fans there's some more things coming at midnight tonight. So apparently they're dropping something at midnight tonight.
At midnight? What are they? What is with this promotion team?
It's like almost 8 o'clock for America.
Well, I reckon it's got to do with probably.
It's like 6 p.m. for America.
For America, yeah.
Yeah, but America doesn't care anymore. What, is it going to be another 20 seconds of Jodie Whittaker trying to convince me she can act?
Yeah. Oh, look at my fam!
Someone wrote this in the comment section. Midnight, almost like a British TV show was pandering force to the Yanks. What the fuck? And then someone wrote, no one asked.
Yeah.
I wonder what it is. It's probably you know what? It's probably either more episode synopsises or maybe more promo pictures.
Yeah. See, I was thinking promo pictures.
Yeah.
Because of the time, I was thinking promo pictures.
But again, no one's screaming no spoilers at us. I'd say, what's there to spoil?
Anyway, Liam, what do you think of the outfits for these guys?
Well, what can I say? It's very 1990s gay club.
It's a bit, isn't it?
See the jacket that he has on. It reminds me of that show, Blockbusters. Do you remember the one with you use the letters and you have to pick a letter?
P, please, Bob.
Yeah, look.
Well, do you know what it made me think of? Gladiators. Do you know that show?
Yeah, I used to love that show, man.
Yeah. The remake wasn't very good.
Oh, I didn't have the set. You need camp with that show. It was just full of it, the original one. And if you don't have that, you don't have the show.
Yeah.
Gladiators.
The only thing I did was bring Wolf back. That was about it.
So that guy remembers Blockbusters. I used to love that show. Do you know what I have been watching? So, because, you know, I said I'd give it a go. So I've been watching Blankety Blank by Bradley Walsh. I watched the first 2 episodes, just gone. He's a good host, and the celebrities they get on are good. The only thing is now, it's not the same as the old one. It's like someone even mentioned it, like they're being quite literal about the blanks. The whole point of that show was, you know, there's a bit of comedy element to it because you know the celebrities would put down a word and they'd have to guess. And I don't know. I'm not sure it was worth handing them £1 million golden handshake to do it. To be quite honest with you,
do you not think a bit of that money was like for them to say sorry, sorry for giving you Doctor Who and making you think you were going to have an actual character.
If you don't apologise for exposing you to Jodie Whittaker, yeah.
Well, you did for one series, Bradley, and then we kind of forgot about you and you couldn't be asked. So it's
like I'm glad he's doing Blankety Blank, but I think the people that are producing and running the show have probably not watched Blankety Blank properly, the old ones.
Oh no,
because they don't get the whole point of the show. Now, as I said, Bradley is funny. The celebrities that they have had on are funny, and you're still having a laugh. Like Bradley can't help himself. Someone will say something, and once he starts laughing and loses it, that's it. He does it on the chase as well.
Oh yeah, he's a giggler.
But I'm not sure it was worth giving him $1 million to do this show because apparently it was a golden handshake, £1 million to do this show. Yeah. And I don't think it's worth $1 million, giving him $1 million.
Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if some of it was literally like, sorry for Doctor Who, here's some money.
Yeah.
Dave said, I like Bullseye. I still watch Bullseye because they do repeat it on that fucking UK TV Gold.
Oh, God. Oh, no, what's it? Challenge?
No, Challenge.
Here's what you could have won.
Sorry, it's Challenge. That's the one. Yeah, I watch Bullseye. Love Bullseye. I watched the old Crystal Maze as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I used to love that when I was a kid.
Do you know how many times I mentioned that at university and nobody knew what I was talking about? I'm like, what?
Grief.
What?
Yeah, and I've watched the new one with that bloke who you think would make
it.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same, but he is good. He is a good. They got the right presenter, all right. It's just the show is not the same because the games are not.
Only one zone looks like the original zone. That's industrial. The rest is like no.
Yeah, some of it is the design. It just that show, the original, was like you could tell they spent so much time on those sets, and they really loved making them sets. You could tell.
Futuristic was a damaged space station, not an Apple product.
Yeah, I did like Crystal Maze. I loved it.
Yeah,
I love the eye effect.
Yeah,
that is lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, they put an iris in it and a light bulb behind it from a camera.
It almost, which is weird I'm saying this, but it's almost expressive. Do you know, like you can, because
they
obviously
kind of did it in Dalek.
Yes, they did.
They kind of brought it back, yeah.
Yeah, because it was it wasn't a flashing eye. It was like a
had an LED on it. It go backwards and forwards.
I can't remember the name of the show, but it was out a while back, and then they have different versions in different countries. But what was that show where everybody did the obstacle course?
What, Ninja Warrior?
Ninja Warrior, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's
Sasuke, as it's supposed to be called. Mount Sasuke. Not Ninja Warrior.
Well.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Joe Rogan back in the day when he had hair in the Fear Factor. Do you remember the Fear Factor?
Oh, had Celebrity Fear Factor.
I've never watched it, but it might be.
Yeah, Fear Factor was, face your own fears. Joe Rogan, it used to be dangerous. Yeah, he was a great presenter.
Yeah.
The Dead City lies over there.
Oh, and here's the king that as soon as I watched this, I was like, you're going to end up dead. Yeah. You're way too nice to be in this story. Nice. I was like, you're gonna do the thing of, oh, the Daleks are gonna be good. I'll go and talk to them, and bam, I knew that was gonna happen.
Jesus, the blonde in the background seems she's hot. No offense to anybody out there, but look, she's quite hot.
Well, though, I'll say this: there's not really an ugly-looking bloke. They're all quite.
No.
But I think they did that on purpose because of the thing of the Daleks seeing them as mutants and seeing them as the other, and it's almost the subtext. I think is them saying how it's such a when it comes to aesthetic and race, it really doesn't conform to what a viewpoint can be of that being.
Exactly.
I mean, they're farmers. That's what also struck me. Like when they talk about themselves, they say, "Oh, we're just farmers." And the thing that when the king's talking here, and like I said, it was so weird almost watching this because I have that knowledge of a Dalek, and to see these characters be so like optimistic that the Daleks were going to listen to them, and that the Daleks were going to be as fed up of fighting as they were. Well, not even fighting, but that's like the Daleks would have gone past all the want to destroy and fight, and you can understand why they're saying these things, and that's what I think so clever. It doesn't make them seem stupid. You can completely understand their viewpoint.
Yeah.
It doesn't demean their viewpoint. Yeah. It's sort of the only thing it does is you sort of feel a little bit sorry for them, because even from this part of the story, when the Daleks haven't fully shown their sort of evil side, you can sense there's something bad with these beings.
Yeah. Yeah. As we all know, how the Daleks survived. Watch The Power of the Daleks. Apparently, they had a space program.
Actually, does anybody out there have the evil of the Daleks? Because I've been wanting to watch it, and I can't. Obviously,
oh, that's going to be a Christmas present for me, I think.
Probably for me as well. Yeah.
Do you know what? I might, if that's yeah. I might actually if we're doing Christmas presents this year, I might actually ask her to get me that story. Because I want to watch it because I'm hearing good things about it. I'm actually hearing.
I watched a clip on YouTube today from it, and the animation was really good in the clip.
Yeah, I heard the animation's not bad, even though it comes from the same animators that did Fury of the Deep. I can't believe they've actually stepped it up because that animation in Fury of the Deep, even Lee will tell you, we tried to watch that story several times. It's very jarring, man. And what's there, 6 parts, Lee, and you could only watch 3 a night or something, and then you have to take a break because it was just so repetitive, man.
Yeah.
Well, they must have got a lot of backlash, or I don't know what the right word is, feedback from the Fury. So they must have been told, right, guys, we're giving you another story, do it better.
Yeah, you have one more chance.
Yeah. Also, if you think about, I know Fury was like a big sort of wanted episode, but I've always got the impression that the evil of the Daleks is like a bit of a more special.
Oh no, evil of the Daleks is the Holy Grail.
Yeah, that's the impression I've always got. So they must have been very under pressure to deliver.
But here's the thing: of all of the missing stories, that was the one, wasn't it? That one and the Aztecs, isn't it? Or people wanted to be animated, but apparently that'll never be animated because there's so much.
Well, no, it's not the Aztecs. We've got Aztecs.
No, not the Aztecs. The what's
Massacre.
The other one?
The Massacre. Some bollocks.
No, Marco Polo. Is that the one?
Marco Polo. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. Apparently, it'd be too hard to animate or something. I don't know what the fuck.
Well, that's why they're doing I think this motion capture stuff. And
that's terrible though.
Well, no, that's the thing. I think
Web of Fear.
Web of Fear was their first try, and it really shows.
Yeah,
so I
it really was their first try.
If once they get a bit more comfortable, that we could get a Marco Polo down the line once they're more comfortable with that motion capture.
Maybe, you're right. Retro says that he got it last week and he really enjoyed it. It's very good. Damn, man, I'm dying to see it. I am, but it's not on none of the sites. Don't think it's put up on this site yet that me and Charlotte.
No, it isn't actually. All the others are.
All the other ones are. So I'm waiting on that one to be thrown up. I really want to watch it. I've been searching for it, because sometimes you think you might find these stories, but this is one story that I can't find it. You can get Power to Daleks, no problem, and all the others, as Charlotte said, but I cannot find the evil. And it's annoying because I want to watch it before it gets spoiled for me. Because this is one story I never watched. I've never seen.
I've only seen 2 parts of it.
Except for the telly snaps and whatever. That's it. Yeah. Never seen it like.
And they never completed the enhanced telesnap version. The guy that was doing it stopped kind of halfway through Evil of the Daleks. Like, what? It's like episode 6. Like, what?
No, I think this is such an important scene here because like I said, think about the context. They've just been thrown together. They're just starting out as a sort of a team, if you want to use that term.
Yeah.
And right here, you're seeing them starting to work together properly.
Yeah.
They're listening to each other. The Doctor's coming up with a bit of his plan. Barbara and Ian are coming up with a bit of theirs. And you're starting now to see how these 4 are not so much individuals now who are just sort of tolerating each other.
Yeah.
You're starting to see the proper unit that they would become later on.
Yeah. Yeah. Static electricity.
So someone says that they got it on a site there. What is that the name of the site, is it? Because I'm at the putting that word in and it's not coming up. It's coming.
No, I can wait. Like I said, it's probably going to be on my Christmas list.
Let's praise Allah. Right? Praise God.
Let's see.
Oh, hello, Daniel. Have you just finished listening to your big finish then?
Oh, there's the fireworks again. Ted's gonna be fucking. Well, I can't find that site. It mustn't be available here.
It could be actually that. That's the thing that does my head in when it's like, access.
I'm going to watch it because I know someone's going to spoil it for me because people seem to be in the habit of spoiling shit all of a sudden. Like, you know?
Well, I don't know.
Muslim uncle was just saying God willing. That's what he was saying.
What?
Your Muslim uncle was just saying God willing. That's what he was
saying.
saying.
Oh yeah, we can give you your website there.
Wasn't a website. It was just saying God willing.
Right. Well, I can't. Well, I've tried to find that site that Dave suggested to me, and it's not coming up on my search bar. So.
Well, I was going to say, I think you'll be okay for spoilers because was it out a month ago, and you've not been spoiled yet?
No, so far.
Yeah, I don't normally get Blu-ray versions because I can see aliasing in the animation.
Oh, I'm just going to get the normal DVD when I get it.
I always do. The only one I didn't was Sharda because it had all the footage was blown up to 1K. Sorry, it was remastered to 1K. The surviving footage. I don't normally get the animated ones in Blu-ray because, as I said, I keep seeing aliasing around all the edges of the lines.
Yeah, I'm just simple. I just can't play Blu-rays. So.
And if you want to play at 480p, you don't see it blurs the lines. It doesn't look so. Don't see so much aliasing. It's like, what is it? Oh god, what is it? Anti-aliasing. It's like FX anti-aliasing. It blurs out all the lines. Blurs the edges so you can't see any aliasing. Just pixelation around the edge of lines.
It looks so weird to see the Daleks hold like a tray.
Yeah, there's a magnet on it. A massive magnet on it.
I am your servant.
I know it makes me think of that. It does.
Yeah. That was a throwback to Power of the Daleks. Yeah, as I said, because Power of the Daleks was missing, I forgot. When Daleks Invasion of Earth, how did Daleks come back?
Well,
I finally saw Power of the Daleks.
Yeah, it's got to this point, PD, that they just always come back, and I've just accepted that. So I don't even try and work out like.
It's like, how could a Doctor have destroyed them deep in the past, deep in the future of Skaro, and they come back. Then I watch Power of the Daleks. Oh, they had a space program.
Or like literally with RTD. Oh, there was just one that survived.
Yeah. Out of the Power of the Daleks, yeah.
And then he did the cult of Skaro, and then he made, like I said, it got to a point where it was just ridiculous the amount of Daleks he suddenly could make appear for his finales.
It wasn't as bad as Moffat though, doing the origin of the Parliament of Daleks in the Doctor Who experience. You had to go see the Doctor Who adventure experience.
I was going to say, it wasn't the experience, because I went to that. It was the adventure.
It was the adventure. It was the Dalek scene. Just after the TARDIS console room.
Which movie? Oh, we're talking about Evil of the Daleks. I don't know if someone mentioned a movie in there, Fat Stevens ago, but I was talking about Evil of the Daleks. It's the new animation that was released a few weeks back. But normally you can get it online. But I haven't been able to find it.
But maybe the BBC is more protective of that stuff.
Maybe this one, because it seems to be that way, doesn't it? Because I'm dying to watch it.
It's a nice alarm in this one. It wasn't in a cushion one.
Oh, Fat Stephen. Some of the very, very old Doctor Who's, because the BBC were idiots, they destroyed them.
Yeah, I didn't think they.
So we have some stories which are not complete. So that's why for the last, when did they start animating them? When was it the start of animation?
Invasion was the first one they did.
How many years ago?
Charlotte, while you're on, because we're at
10 or 12 years ago.
10. While we're still watching this, if you want to give your review of the first 3 episodes while you're on, while it's still on, do it so, because I know you're going to be finishing up shortly. So if you want to do that.
Yeah, like I said, I really like the beginning. Actually, I really like this story, but to keep it to just the 3 parts, I think the sort of slow introduction of the Daleks is really good, that they don't straight away show you them. It's that sort of classic thing of your mind can make more scary things, so they show them very sparingly. I like the mystery of the city, and you just sort of think, like, what could make a whole city die?
Yeah.
And the sort of the state of the planet is really gets you sort of thinking, what on earth? I like these. Also, the same sort of theme with the Thals, that they're sort of just a few sentences about them, and they're very deliberately making you think they're going to be one thing, that when you do get introduced to them, they're the exact opposite. And I think that's very much on purpose in these first couple of episodes. And like I said, you're starting to see the team sort of Ian, Barbara, the Doctor, and Susan sort of share their strengths and work together. And they're still sort of got that shock, I think, from the previous adventure. You can see in the companions with the radiation, just another level of danger. Also, the Doctor, you see him in a very weakened state. So this really does feel like the cavemen were a threat, but this feels like a completely different level. And I can understand why ideally they would have wanted to lead with this story, but because of timing they had to make this the second story. So I can see why the Daleks captured the imagination so much, just from this whole story, but from this beginning as well. There's sort of this creeping shadow that you think, what on earth? And then the more you get into the story, the more you see the sort of depravity and the hatred. And like I sort of said, my theory is that's what sort of inspired the Doctor to become what we know he is today. So I won't give it a number because I'll do that when we watch the whole parts, but those are my thoughts.
Yeah. Scene coming up, it was a gorilla glove and a load of Vaseline. This bit here.
That sounds like Classic Who.
That was Classic Who, yeah.
There we go. So next week it'll be the ambush. Is the next episode. So look, it's a cracking story. But the first companion in a Dalek, what? Ian, there's a question for who's the first companion ever to be in a Dalek? Ian.
Yeah, it was Ian. Yeah.
So what did you rate it out of 10? Sorry, what did you give it?
I didn't give it a number because I don't think it's fair. Only off 3.
Actually, we'll leave the rating. You're right. We'll leave the rating until next week. So that's how we'll do it. You're right. You're absolutely spot on. That would make more sense. So Charlotte has given her opinion. When if you need to go, Charlotte.
Yeah. So I'll say night just so I'm safe.
Catch you later, Charlotte. Yeah.
Thank you. See you guys tomorrow.
No problem. And we are one of the mods will throw the channels in.
Yes.
Thank you. Night.
Night.
Right, Lee. We might as well go with you next. Now, remember, we're not doing a rating until next week. But would you like to give your thoughts on the first 3 stories that you've watched tonight?
Yeah, well, it's obviously the start of the Dalek craze back in the 60s.
Yeah.
This became the next big craze. Like the hula hoop and all that. You got some great little interplay there between the crew, the Doctor, discovering what these Daleks are all about. You got the subsequent subplot with the Thals, so you're introducing the dynamics there. it's got some beautiful shots in this. I think it's a very well directed first Doctor episode. It's got some really beautiful scenery and some shots. It is obviously a classic. We've all seen this like 1,000 million times before. So what can I add?
Yeah.
No, you're right. It is a classic. Though. You're right, but this is the thing. You'll find yourself, no matter how many times you watch it, you'll always find yourself coming back to this story because it's so fascinating. It's the first Dalek story, so everybody does be interested because the Daleks are so iconic.
Well, I like by episode 3, when they're taking the mutant out of the Dalek. It's really interesting that straight away it's been addressed. There was no need to retcon anything to make the Daleks mutants or anything. It was all thought out from that point on.
Yeah.
Which I love. We didn't get to see it, which is a shame. I'd love to see the much later on we got the sort of mutants with their flapping tentacles as they were shot or exploded or whatnot. But it's quite. We laugh really, about sort of watching a Dalek being sort of scooped out, and then Ian sort of sitting in the thing, and it's quite interesting hearing a perspective about all the controls. So you can imagine like all the controls and inside a Dalek capsule would be sort of multiple different levers and buttons or whatever for all the tentacles to operate. Which I think is quite interesting. So it does invoke a little bit of imagination with that, which I quite like. But the whole thing with them sort of being imprisoned and and then you sort of learn about the sort of static that the Daleks use. I think they should have kept that, or elements of that, because I like having these super beings having these sort of limitations and them sort of having to overcome them, which I think is more interesting.
Yeah.
Now they're sort of super powered, hyper powered. They can fly now. They fly now.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure of because I know they introduced that in the Seventh Doctor's Remembrance story. But I don't know. I quite like the idea of them having those flying.
The first one.
Yeah, I stairs. Obviously,
I think that was the thinking. Like this villain, it's so evil, and then it gets defeated by a flight of stairs. Even Adam in the New Who, defeated by a flight of stairs.
No, I don't mind them being able to tackle stairs, but I quite like the idea of them having to use metal or static or copper or something that they have to put in place first or something. Think it through. I quite like that. But
Power of Daleks and Invasion of Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. So and there's also a theory that the adventures that we're seeing here are much later Daleks than the ones from Genesis.
Yeah.
So that these are actually sort of Daleks from the future.
Right.
But obviously we've got the situation with the
changed the origin story quite a lot, hasn't he? That was the first introduction to the Daleks, this story. And then later on, then he tweaks it a little bit. And obviously for Power of the Daleks as well, he does bring up the whole static electricity thing again. But right. He changed them so much, and stuff, because look, you can understand why he did, but I don't like them flying, to be quite honest with you.
I don't mind if it's short bursts, but this constant, the whole thing with Canary Wharf flying around the crazy, did my head in a bit. And can I just point out, Ian was a dick in this in the first episode when he crushed Susan's precious little flower.
Yeah.
He just crushed it in her hand and poor Susan.
Yeah.
But I think Barbara in this is great as well. And I think the companions in this, unlike the current era, are far more proactive.
I agree.
And I just don't understand how Chibnall can screw that up so bad. You've got a perfect template with Ian, Barbara, and Susan. Just honestly, it's not that difficult. I mean, if they can do it in the 60s,
if you want to have loads of companions, you can. but you have to be able to, give them all bit of screen time, but also when they're on screen, give them enough character development that fans, can get behind these characters. And that's one thing Chibnall is not actually good at doing. But PD, what do you think?
I really enjoyed this. I mean, this is where it all starts. I mean, I love this. This is when Doctor Who becomes Doctor Who. Starts showing its true colours. It's a bit slow at the beginning, but what would you expect from 1963? But I just love it. I just love this first episode. There's so much stuff that's in the serial compared to the Peter Cushing adaptation. That it's well worth watching the serial. I'm glad they found the missing episode to this one, because one of the episodes was missing. And I do love the power thing that Probby was discussing as well. I mean, it's kind of shown off again in Invasion of Earth, and then shown off again in the Power of the Daleks. But the problem is that Daleks in Genesis of Daleks, the props have been so much modified, repaired, and tinkered with, they couldn't reset them because they were supposed to be the same Daleks, same original Daleks, but they've changed them so much. It'd take too much work to change them back, so they just had to use the Pertwee era props.
Oh, can I just say there's some brilliant photos that Sylvester McCoy has just posted up. Posted them up 13 hours ago, but it's pictures of him in scarves for the Guardian. He looks so funny. It's very doctory.
Cool. Yeah.
It's really
Good
really
old
funny.
Sylvester. But yeah, I love this. I love this serial. I'm so glad I gave it a second watch, because I was thinking, when I was younger, I was thinking, I've seen the Cushing one. Why do I want to see kind of poor man's version? But it's well worth it because there's far more in it.
Fantastic. Sorry, I just saw I got distracted there with something on.
That's all right. No
worries. As usual. But because
who's shouting abuse at us this time?
This midnight announcement, whatever it's going to be, very fascinating stuff. But yeah, look, this is up there as one of my favorite Dalek stories. It's the original Dalek story. There's some iconic scenes in it, as we know. I can imagine being a kid. Well, I can't imagine, but I would have loved to be able to imagine what it was like to be a kid during the 60s when they were forced introduced to these strange pepper pots that were evil. Look, this story is a fascinating one. This kind of sets, little did probably Terry Nation know that this was going to start something big when he created these. Maybe he kind of did have it in the back of his head, but I don't. In reality, he probably thought one story, maybe two, and that's it. But they become so iconic, just like the Doctor's character, that they're you can't have Doctor Who without the Daleks. But I will say this though, I think when RTD comes back though, personally, I think the Daleks should be rested for a while.
Yeah.
Even though we do, I think he should look. Maybe some deal can be made with the Terry Nation estate that for a couple of years we're just going to leave them out. But maybe
see what Moffat did, rest them. Yeah,
we'll bring them back, but we're going to rest them for a while. They definitely do need to be rested. Even though I do like what Chris Chibnall's doing with his version of them, I still do believe that we've gotten too many Dalek stories. Same with the Cybermen as well, and now they can fly as well. It's getting ridiculous. Like everything can fly now. Cybermen flying, Daleks are flying. What's next? E.T.
Yeah, flying E.T. creatures.
Anyway, though,
flying patings. Yeah,
I do.
Super Grand didn't fly.
Super Weeping Angels.
Can't wait to see the next week. Watch the last 4 parts. But this is a great story, and I love coming back to it. I love coming back to William Hartnell's stuff. I have to be honest. The stuff that we can watch. He was the Fourth Doctor, and he still is for me iconic. And he is, obviously he was the first man to play the role, so will always be his. No matter, even though Tom is the definitive one, it'll always be William Hartnell's role. He was the Fourth Doctor. Sad the way he had to leave the show. Unfortunately, that broke me heart actually. But times change, and we got Patrick Troughton, and he didn't do too bad. So you know, and I look at it since then. I say if he was alive today, right, forget about the Whittaker era, but say if he was alive today and he was around for the RTD and Moffat era, I say in some aspects he would have enjoyed it. Obviously, he would have come out and criticised certain things because that's William Hartnell for you.
Yeah.
But people would have took notice, though, if he had come out. It's like when Tom Baker came out and basically said, well, if Whittaker fails and the ratings dip, they should kill her off. Like, you know, these old timers have no problem coming out and saying it as it is. And I'm pretty sure Hartnell would have had plenty to say. But his legacy, along with all the other men that played the role, their legacies are secure now. Now that Chibnall and Whittaker are gone, the legacies, as far as I'm concerned, are secure now. Because RTD will not ruin them, and he won't ruin his own legacy either. As I said, I'm quite hopeful what he does with the series, but we'll see. But yeah, this is a great start. Can't wait to rate this next week. Have to be honest, it's going to rate very high. But I've really enjoyed it. Because some of the classic stories, let's be honest, guys, can be very mundane and can be a struggle to get through. But with this story, I find you're on the edge of your seat all the time, and you're just waiting for the next scene, you know, that kind of a way. So
yeah, I love the first episode with the sort of build up, because you don't get to see a Dalek until right at the very end. You get to see like just the gun and the plunger, and it's like, what is it? You can imagine what the kids were thinking back in the 90s.
I know. Yeah. That's what I mean. I envy those little fuckers. Like my
dad was one of them. Yeah.
But I tell you, I would have loved to be around when that first aired, because I say the buzz would have been something. And to me, I think that was the story that kind of may have saved the show, to be quite honest with you. I know they kind of
was furious with it.
Pick up on it. I know they kind of pick up on it on an adventure in space-time.
Monsters.
But they take liberties with that as well. I don't know if it's exactly true that this was the start, but I kind of do believe it was. I don't think if this story had been a success, I don't think Doctor Who would have lasted too long. To be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
But it was something different. It was something unique, and it was scaring the shit out of the kids. Let's do that again, RTD. That's all we want. We want you to scare the shit out of us as well as adults. So I'll do that. Right, that's it. Lee's PD's put all the links in the chat. We'll be back for some new Who tomorrow. We've got a town called Mercy tomorrow. Not a bad story. And then, as I said, Wednesday I'll be letting you know what the changes are to the watch-alongs and stuff like that, and stuff like that. So we're gonna leave it there. So the panel's gonna say goodnight.
All right.
Good night, panel.
Never changes. It
never changes. So I'll leave it there. I'll talk to you soon. Look after yourselves. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Sorry, I forgot to say one more thing, actually. If that announcement midnight is anything that's worth talking about, I may come back. I'm just saying I may. It's not me plan to, but if it's something major, I'll come back. Or if it's worth talking about, I'll be back. So look out for that announcement at 12 o'clock, folks, if you are still up in the UK and Ireland. For the rest of you, obviously, it'll be still the evening for you in America. Let's see what this announcement is anyway. Right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.